Good morning, everyone. This is another episode of Yes, I Started to Do It.
You literally did.
This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. I am the lovely Laura with a lovely missing voice.
I was gonna say you sound just great.
I sound like I might have had a weekend.
You might have had
you
one.
might have had
And
one.
that is the radical Ryan speaking over there.
right.
And the practically perfect Penny is
Here.
here.
We're here.
We're
I'm
here.
not sure what we're doing here. Oh, we're without Kate.
We are without Kate.
Yeah,
we are
that's
Kate.
right.
We are the Kateless Wonders
Yeah,
right.
today.
I like that. Kate Wonders.
So
That's
sort of okay. So everyone knows we tape in advance. So whatever, I'll just say it. So I'm missing my voice because I've just been in Florida for Kate's daughter's wedding.
right.
That's why Kate is not here. She is cleaning up the rest
Yeah.
of everything, and it was just so much fun. But the dancing on Saturday night
Yes.
and the trying to keep up with all of the 20-somethings who knew every lyric to every song.
Oh, good point.
I woke up Sunday morning without a voice because I was trying to scream lyrics, and that does not work at my
It
age.
does not. I don't think it's your. Yeah,
And
I
I've
think
I've
it
had
is our
this
age.
I've had this ever since. But honestly, when I first started talking, I was like, "Oh, it's worse than I thought."
Usually how it happens. Like all of a sudden you're like, oh, this isn't too bad, and then like you really start to use your voice, and it's like, oh, this is actually
I'm
really
thinking
good.
I haven't said a lot since I got home.
Probably
No,
not.
that's true. That's true.
That's probably a good thing.
Yes.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But no, you guys had a blast, which is awesome.
Yes, we did.
Which is really cool, obviously, during the Memorial Day holiday weekend. And yeah, no, I guess with being Kateless here today, we thought, like, okay, well, what do we want to talk about? And it was actually funny because I think it all ties in together. And Penny, I know you have like a whole story behind it, but with you guys going, this past weekend, not this weekend, but this past Memorial Day, to, of course, the wedding, you came back and you were just kind of like, I'm just done. Like I just need some time.
Okay, my voice is the analogy of what you just said.
It's done. It's done. We're
Just
done.
need
Yeah.
a couple of minutes or days or weeks to just recoup or whatever it is. So Penny, you want to talk about kind of what your story time was and how that kind of springboarded us in what we're talking about. That's right.
So I started to share with my two lovely co-hosts here of like what it was like for me after the wedding because we were gone 3-4 days. How many days were we gone? It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but we
They
embraced
all
it.
fell together.
I was
They
only
did.
gone 2 nights, Friday night, Saturday night.
So
I
was gone
I
3
made a
nights.
short weekend out of it.
Yeah, you did.
You were
That's
gone
right.
a little longer.
We went out at the same time, and we came back a day later. So anyway, yeah, so we were just kind of talking about what it's been like. I had asked Ryan, I said, what'd you do Memorial Day weekend? And Ryan talks about all the chores he was getting done and how nice it was to kind of have this like extra day to kind of play with. And it was nice out. I assume we weren't here, but I assume it wasn't
was.
bad.
Not
Okay.
too bad, yeah.
By the way, where we were at, it was
It
lovely.
was gorgeous.
We were in Florida enjoying the sun. So anyway, we're coming back from Florida and heading back home from St. Louis. And my husband's brain is already on fire. It's like, okay, so what are you going to do when we get home? And I'm sitting there going, I don't know if I know how to think at this moment. And it wasn't like I was planning the wedding. It wasn't as if my daughter was getting married, and I've done that twice.
Yep.
And maybe I felt this way then too, but I just felt like a little exhausted. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, no. If anyone out there listening doesn't have that after vacation,
Is that it?
like kind of, I don't know,
You need
you
a
are
vacation for a
tired.
vacation. 1,000%.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
That's a
make
good
any
point.
sense because you just took one and you should be revived and ready to go as your husband
Yes.
obviously was.
Oh my goodness.
But I get home exhausted. And
Yes.
it doesn't matter if I stayed up late, if I went to bed early, if I slept all day and took tons of naps, or it doesn't matter what I do. I come home exhausted. I don't
Yes.
understand it.
Well, and I think that, when I go on trips with my husband for work, I think he's exhausted when he comes home sometimes just because he's on. He's
Sure.
the main person of that weekend. And so like this weekend, it was more like he would ask me, what do we do next? How do we where do we go? What time do we have to do the other? And so then maybe that was part of it too because I was kind of like a little bit more in charge than he was, but regardless,
fair. Yeah, that's a good
regardless. So we're driving home and I'm like, gosh, I'm so tired. He's driving. I'm like, I feel so tired. And then we get home and this man, he hit the feet on the ground and he was off and running. I mean, we went to Farm and Home, I'll go ahead and say it, Farm and Home,
Yeah.
and we bought flowers that were 50% off, and he was so excited about that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll participate. I'm like throwing some stuff in the cart. He goes, okay, now do we have to go get the groceries? I'm like, well, we're going to have to take the flowers back, and I'll just go get the groceries. Because at that point, I'm like, I'm kind of done. I don't know. I'm just going through the motions. And so I come back, and this man has lit this place on fire. I mean, we have plants in this pot. We got plants over here. And he's like, you want to put your herbs in the pot? I'm like, might do that tomorrow. I'm like, he's got this mess everywhere. He's got a mess. And it would make 110% sense for me to do it right then.
Yeah.
And I just looked at him and go, hey, I got to go change the laundry. So I went back into the house, changed the laundry. And then I went upstairs and looked on the computer for a while. I could have been doing something, but I was just kind of done doing. I was just kind of done doing. And God bless my husband. About 2 hours later, I had fixed supper, by the way. I did do that. And it was pretty impressive. I was very impressed with what I made. And he comes in and goes, man, I'm tired. I'm like, welcome. I've been here for the last 6 hours.
Welcome to the family. That's right. Welcome to fun.
I go, let's go sit in the living room and eat this amazing supper and watch some war movies because he likes to watch war movies. It is Memorial Day. It felt it made sense. And I'm like, yes, the movement has stopped. We're just done.
So,
and then I fell asleep on the couch and went to bed.
But I have to ask you, because one of the things you said when we were talking about this before we came on air was you went to do the laundry and then you're looking on your computer. But then you hear Brian and you're like, oh, I better go change the laundry. Like, okay, so so now I'm asking Penny, the counselor, do we put this pressure on ourselves? Because Brian could have cared less if you were still on your computer. But do we put this pressure when everybody's like active and doing all this stuff and getting things done and da-da-da-da-da, do we put this pressure on ourselves to like participate, or do we allow ourselves to just relax? I mean, what's up with the self-talk there? What's the guilt?
No, that's a good point. I think it's a little bit of both. And I think I don't think Brian judges me. He just doesn't understand me.
Well, you are usually ping, 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 ping. I mean, that's usually, as opposed to practically perfect. I think I'm going to go with ping, ping.
Right.
I do ping a lot.
Ping, ping, Penny.
And my brain pings a lot. But my brain was done. That's a very good point. My brain and my body were done pinging. Yeah. I usually call them my monkeys get a little out of control. They were like sleeping.
Hibernation.
So I don't know. I think he just looks at me like he doesn't understand me, but his brain is also wired differently. He's a black and white kind of a guy more so. He's an accountant by trade, and so everything just kind of fits. In my world, nothing really fits. Is it supposed to? I don't know. I don't think it's supposed to fit.
You're good
I
with
could
that.
try to put it in there, but it's just not going to fit right. So I don't know. I think it's me. I do feel like nothing against him. I think it was more me. I felt like I needed to be matching his energy. And at the same time, I'm kind of like, as I've gotten a little smidgen older, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to match that energy. Nor does he match my energy. He can't match mine when when my monkeys are alive.
Right.
You know, he doesn't match my energy. So anyway, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think it depends on your relationship. But I think with him, I think he just looks at me like I have 10 heads. And I understand that.
Hey, I get that. But look, why do we do that? Now, maybe there isn't an answer to the why, but like, because I find myself doing that sometimes. Like if the wife is working on a project or something like that, and I'm just not into it, but like I feel like I need to be because like she's doing it, and I know she's done the same thing. Like I'll be doing something, and then she feels like she's.
Well, I missed the beginning of the conversation where Penny was asking you all the stuff you got done this weekend. So does the wife then look at you getting all this stuff done and go, "Oh, crud! I better go change the laundry."
I know, because 9 times out of 10, it's usually we've both like, okay, we're gonna get this done. This is what we're gonna do. Really, the only time that it's like you're doing something maybe I should be, or vice versa, whatever, is like if you're cleaning the house or something, or you're doing like kind of like a small project, or not really anything that you talked about. You're just kind of doing it, and it's like, oh, maybe I should do something. Like, oh, I'm doing the dishwasher. Oh, I probably should go do that load of laundry or something, right? And we feel like we have to, when in all seriousness, like we don't. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm not looking at my wife going, wow, I did all this and you didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Or she's not doing that same thing to me. Like, it's not happening. Over the weekend, I mean, we got a lot of projects done, like different things, moving a fence, moving this, moving that, like. getting stuff ready for, the kids, different things they got for their birthday a couple of weekends ago, and kind of getting whatnot.
Getting ready for summer.
That's right.
Yes.
Why is it though that we do that? Like, what is it from a therapist side of it? Like, why do we? And again, there might not be an answer to the why, but why do we do that? Because I know you're not the only one that's ever obviously had that feeling. I just talked about how I've had it, or
Right, right.
I'm sure you
Oh,
felt the
totally.
same way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a gazillion people listening all felt the same way. Why do we have this like weird thing? It's like, oh well, Penny's doing something, so I guess I have to too. Like, I guess I have to go get after it and try to do a task or do something. I don't know why we do that, because I do it too often, and I shouldn't.
I don't know. I'm not for sure. I have a lot of thoughts in my head, and I think sometimes we do that comparing, and I think that starts even when kids are younger, even when they're in school, where you're compared to somebody else. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing either. I don't want it to sound like it's a negative. It can be a
Right, it
negative.
just is.
It just is. You can't help but compare.
Well, it's funny because, and not to cut you off, because
No, you're good.
Okay, like the twins, for instance. So like, I've recognized, and I do this a lot, where, and I don't know if it's right or wrong, but so if one of the twins is listening, like you make it kind of like really good, like, and you want the other twin to do it too. So you're kind of like, oh, you did such a great job. Good job for listening and doing that. And then like the other ones, oh, they're getting praised, and now I want to. So like they now want to go and do it. And again, don't know if that's right or wrong. It works, for whatever. But is that almost is like the start
Yeah.
of what we're talking about?
I think that's a very good observation.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Because you're observing what somebody else does and you're like, hey, I want some of that. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing
No.
either, though. I mean,
No.
I've often said this. People throughout my life who were older than me and they just had such a peace about them and they just had such an air of happiness. And I'm like, oh, I want some of that. And so you just kind of like, I don't know where to go with that, but I just feel like that's just kind of like that energy. You want that. And I think when they're little, you're like, you want that behavior. And don't we do that in school? We all want good behavior. And so I think that just does happen within the academic setting that, you expect good behavior. You want the A because you see the A gives you this and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And he's waving at
I
us.
know.
Hey,
Oh,
hi.
yeah.
I had a really frivolous example.
Well, you know what? You
Can
can
you
save
hold
it
it?
for when we come back.
Oh, sweet.
And then we can
But then
keep-
everyone's going to make fun of me for like the whole 10 minutes when we come back.
That's going to be the
No.
perfect time. That's why we're going to save it. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. We're going to make fun of Laura next, right here.
That's good.
This is hashtag everyone. Wait, jazz hands. Talking about
Yay.
hashtag everything. I can't do it like Kate,
That's right.
but partly because my voice is lost. This is Laura, the lovely Laura. That is
The
practically
lovely
Penny.
lost voice Laura.
There I am.
There it is.
Practically Penny is over here smiling. Radical Ryan is at the panel as usual
Doing the thing.
and doing the thing. And I think we're just talking about like comparative behavior, I think is what we're talking about.
Nice. Comparative
at you.
behavior.
I don't know. Is that
I
a
like
thing?
that.
Is that a
Gave it a
real?
term.
Is that
Yes.
real terminology? Did I just make it up?
We're going to run with it. I like it.
Or competitive? Yeah, competitive.
So what?
Okay,
what
so
is
yeah,
that
so
for? 'Cause I almost
okay,
started
so
making
my
fun of
frivolous
you.
example. So
Yeah.
I mean, we could go on and on about because I think at my house, what we were talking about during the first segment of the show, at my house, like if my husband gets up and starts loading the dishwasher or whatever, I should be perfectly content to let him hop up and load the dishwasher because by gum, I've done it 20 times. I mean, he has too, let's
Yeah.
face it. We all just think we've done it 20 times. But instead, I go, oh, let me help you. And I think it's because I feel guilty just sitting there. I think I need to get up. But that's not my frivolous example because I was spinning it a weird way when you were talking about the twins and trying to get that good behavior. I think we do this comparative thing in so many areas of our life. And so, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm totally tattling on myself for this one. But anyway, I am probably 23, something in that neighborhood. And my girlfriend, my roommate, had a much better paying job than I did. And she went out and bought herself a very nice suit. I mean,
boy.
a very nice suit.
boy.
And I could no more afford that suit than Guess who went out and bought herself a very nice suit?
Lovely Laura.
I did. I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I had to pay it off over months. It was ridiculous. And looking back, I'm like, I wanted what she had.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that takes this because we started talking about comparison and like wanting the praise and
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
But what popped into my head was, why did I have to feel like I had to have that thing? Is that the same part of our brain that goes, oh, I wanted the praise that my, as a twin, as a little toddler-sized twin. Oh, my sister is getting praise because she listened well. As a 23-year-old toddler, let's face it,
That's good.
I wasn't getting praise from my daddy for listening well, but did I want that same feeling that I felt like she got from buying herself that fabulous new suit? I wanted to feel good about myself.
I think that's more of a. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
I think that's more of a jealousy thing.
I don't know. I wanted to feel good and like
Right.
it was a power suit.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to
Yeah. Okay.
I think it could look like
Okay.
and be masked as jealousy.
Okay.
And I think it can be for some people. But knowing you the way I know you, I would say that there is a good chance that you're like, I want that feeling.
Yeah.
I want that.
I
And
think that's what I
sparks
wanted.
that
Okay.
memory in your, and you're like,
Yeah.
she looked so put together.
And she
looked
felt good. You could
confident.
see it. Oh my gosh. It was an
Yes.
awesome power suit. I can
Yes.
still
Yeah.
picture her in it.
So see exactly. So it wasn't the suit; it's what she felt when she was in it, and
Yeah.
you wanted that, and then you thought by getting the suit that you would get it, and then I bet you probably did get it to some degree, even though it cost you many months worth.
Oh, I loved that suit.
Payment
I'm not
plan.
going to lie. I loved the
See?
suit. But I couldn't afford it. It was dumb.
But was it dumb?
I
Maybe
don't-
it
okay,
wasn't. Who
maybe-
knows that it wasn't like
yeah,
a big
oh.
foundation towards
All these
getting you where
years,
you're
I thought it
going.
was dumb.
Because it's still stuck in your head now.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah. And where it jumped in my head was when you were talking about the twins and
Yeah.
that feeling of praise. It wasn't a feeling of jealousy that made it
Yeah.
pop into my head. It was like, there's this stupid, frivolous example of myself wanting that feeling of, not praise, but confidence
Yeah.
and power and.
Well, it's kind of similar to
Yeah.
like.
No, I think you should frame that suit. Do
Yeah?
you still have it?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
Oh, geez.
I know
Well, it's
that
kind
would
of
have been
similar
hard.
to like when we're getting the twins ready. Like if they have like if we put them in like a nice, sundress or something like that with different shoes that are sparkly or whatever, that like if I get one of them ready, we usually get them together at the same time. But let's just say the wife's doing something, packing whatever, I get the girls dressed. Like I put the one dress on and I'm like, oh, and I like, you look so good. And then the other one will see it. And they're like, okay, Daddy, I want my shoes on. I want this on. I want my hair to be done, whatever, because Sissy looks really good. And like, you're making her out to be looking really good. All this stuff, right? So kind of similar.
It is totally similar,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's jealousy. I
Yeah.
think it's I want to feel like that.
I
would,
wanna feel like
again, I
that.
would jump to it. And I'm glad you pointed that out because I jumped to it of like, well, maybe you're just jealous because she had a really cool thing and you wanted it. But it could be perceived that way, but it may not actually be that. There are now.
Okay,
There
are there cases
that
where people are like,
yes,
whatever, yeah, jealous
But
of that thing, but
in
yeah.
this case, as we're describing it, more than likely no.
Yeah,
Like, it's
but I
not.
think the twins are when they
Yeah.
want to get dressed up and they want to put on the dress, they're looking for that feeling.
Well, now it's turned into.
No,
See,
absolutely.
the funny thing is like potty training is like a big thing in our house. So we do like you get an M&M if you go potty on the toilet kind of thing. It's also kind of turned into when the twins just want M&Ms, they'll just go to the bathroom. And
Awesome.
So that's,
Yeah.
and which is
Perfect.
great. And it's funny because
Practice.
so I noticed this is actually funny. This actually happened last week. So one of the twins, we were doing diaper changes, and typically like we're trying to do this thing like if we're changing a diaper, like okay, you go sit on the potty for a little bit, kind of just connecting the dots. And daycare's doing the same thing, and I guess they're doing really well with it. So anyway, so the one twin was doing something with my wife, and I had the other twin, and they went to the bathroom, and she went, pee-pee on the potty kind of thing. And so afterward, like I gave her some M&Ms, and I was like, oh, good job, blah, blah. Well, funny enough, the other twin come running into the bathroom for something completely out of what we were actually doing, because she had gotten something and wanted to show me this stuffed animal she had. And I can hear her running down the hallway, Daddy, 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 Daddy. She runs into the bathroom, Daddy, Daddy. like literal gasp and goes, huh? And like looks at Sissy with the M&Ms. And I'm like, yeah, Sissy went to the potty. She goes, I go potty now too, Daddy. And like wanted to go because like she sees the M&Ms and she's like, well, I want that too. Like I'm gonna go do it. So that's what happened. She went to the bathroom, got M&Ms. But her whole reaction of just the gasp and the huh, like how dare you not give me anything?
Right.
But I'm like, well, you have to go do that. And it all worked out. So kind of similar to that, without even doing anything, they realized, or she realized, the reward.
Yes,
like, well, I want that.
Yes.
So I'm going to go do that too.
So I don't know if it's much of, and perhaps I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is as much of like, oh man, you're giving
Right.
her M&Ms. It's like, oh man,
She
has M&Ms. All I have to do is do this to get those M&Ms. Oh, by all means, I'm going to go potty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus thinking it's something you had done. Sorry, I've always said it's not about you. I don't know how often I say that.
Right.
It's not about you.
Right.
But I think for them, it was just all the bells and whistles connected to that very moment of like, oh.
That's
That's
what
what
I
I
gotta do.
need to do.
That's it?
I, by all means, need to go potty right now, and I am going to eat an M&M when I'm done because Dad always follows through with me, and that's what you taught her. And I think that that's great because she's going to understand that as she gets older, even if you're not the person that's doing it.
1,000%. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny to watch kids as they like develop and like kind of grow into their own and like do those kind of things. It's hysterical. We're also in this weird total sidebar.
No, you're good.
We're also in a total like mode of everything has to be I want the big one. And like but like so if they want more M&Ms, I want big M&Ms. Like big. I want a big pile of M&Ms. I want big M&Ms. Not small M&Ms, Daddy. They're all the same size, but I want big M&Ms. And that's what's I'm like, what is this? No, like it's just, you want more M&Ms and you're trying to like do that. But it's really cute when they say it. Daddy, I want big. I want big milk. I want big. I'm like, okay, like what are you talking about? Like, it's the same thing every time.
Milk isn't big, but it's big in their
I
eyes.
want the big
That's
thing.
so
Oh yeah,
cute.
it's been a weird, funny vibe that's been going around the Mooma house with everything. No, that's little, Daddy. That's big.
I love it.
I think a good way to understand little kids, and once again, I know we're going down this road. It's when little kids, especially their age, generally when they draw a picture. Have you ever noticed they don't have a neck? The people that they draw. Let me clarify that. The people that they draw generally do not have a neck, and I think it's a great example because from their perspective, they can't see your neck, so there is no neck. There is no neck.
Fascinating.
There is a neck, but in their eyes, they
thought of
cannot
that.
see a neck. And I just think it's such a good thing for parents to see is that what we see is so not what they see.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have to like get out of our very mature, over-experienced brains and see it from their perspective. So for her, it is big
Yeah.
because she's looking at it from up here, from down here up to that,
Yeah.
you know, and it is big,
Yeah.
you know, and I just think that sometimes we look at things from our perspective, which is good, but you also have to go around, as somebody told me some time ago, boy, I'm really off on a tangent
You're
here,
doing the thing.
is that the Indians, that they sit around the fire, and this is historically what Indians had done, is in order to understand something, they would move their position around the fire to see the fire from different angles.
Oh, wow.
And I always thought that was amazing because it always looks different from other angles. Because if you're on this side, you see this. If you're on this side, the fire is this big or this da 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 da. And I think that that's such a good example of how we are as people, is that we just see it from this angle when you have to see it from different angles. So this little person's seeing it from this angle. We see it from this angle, and we see it from this angle.
You can tie that all back together
How?
because if you think
Help
about
me.
it,
Help
I
me.
got it done.
Go.
Woo!
If we look at it from an angle of, all right, your husband was doing all these chores, so
Yeah.
you look at it from an angle of, I have to
Ooh.
do all these chores. But the other angle is, no, I'm tired. I don't have to. And he's actually, his angle, you look at it from his perspective, he doesn't really care that you're not doing all of this stuff. He's just doing it himself.
Yeah.
But you're looking at it from his perspective, thinking
That he's judging you or he's wanting you to.
I know. Every once in a while.
That was
Every
good.
once in a
Take
while,
it around.
the squirrel finds the nut. You know what I mean? Every once in a while.
The squirrel finds the
But it's true. I mean, again,
That's
we
good. I like that.
we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves, though, like a ton. Like, why? You know, they're doing this. I need to do this. You know, plus like pressure to like do more. And what I mean is like I'm in this mode. Both twins are 3. I know I keep going back to that, but like my twins are 3, and like I've had conversations with my wife, like, are we doing enough? Like, are we doing enough, like, with them in a sense of like going out and doing things or doing this, doing that? Like, there are days where we're just at home. In a lot of ways, we're doing nothing but something, you know. And I'm like, are we doing enough? Like, are we just kind of bumps on a log here? And like, she even has to tell me, she's like, well, we're not gonna be able to do fun stuff every day. Like, we can't go do things every day. Like, it's just not possible. So like, just being here sometimes is okay. But again, I have this weird thing where I'm like, they're growing up way too fast. I need to sit there and do so
Yes.
much stuff because I'm going to blink and all of a sudden they're going to be 10 or they're going to be 20 and they're going to be graduating college, whatever. And it's like, what in the world? So I don't know. I put this pressure on myself, and I know I'm not the only one that's ever done that.
You
or
are
do
not.
that.
No, haven't said.
Yeah, constantly.
But I also think we have a different angle,
Yeah.
you know, because we've been there, done that.
Yeah.
And I know we both have felt that throughout the years of raising children. But I've also, I wish I would have known this when I was your age raising children, but doing nothing is something.
Yeah.
Because doing nothing gives you that time to just pause. You're teaching your children how to pause. You're teaching your children how to just be at peace. You're teaching your children how to be calm. And I think maybe I'm talking for myself, but I think our generation, we were more like this,
Right.
you know, and I think that your generation is recognizing maybe we need to kick that back a little bit. And I think that that's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited for your generation raising children that maybe that you don't have to be in 10 different activities in school. Maybe you don't have to have something scheduled every day with your children. And I'm hopeful that that generation has learned from our mistake, even though I don't think we messed them up necessarily, if that makes any sense.
No, I think
yeah.
it makes a lot of sense because, I mean, at home time is learning how to be okay with yourself
Right.
as opposed to being entertained. And I think a lot of what we did, Penny, was, oh my gosh, we have to do kindergarten, and we have to do gymnastics, and we have to do t-ball, and we have to do, and we felt like we had to keep going.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. We got one more segment, and let's circle it back to the summer thing and talk about what's your favorite summer activity and or thing you do. So we'll have some fun. We'll have some fun, as we have been all show. I mean, let's be honest. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. This is another show of hashtag, wait, jazz hands, everyone talking about hashtag everything.
Except for not everyone's here because Kate's gone.
And
That's
we're
okay. That's all right.
Kateless Wonders running the roost.
Yes.
Oh, running the roost.
I don't know. It's all the alliteration going on with
Yeah.
the Practically Penny
Seriously.
and the Radical Ryan and the lovely Laura. Yeah.
Nice.
A lot. That was very well done.
Nice.
I don't
Good
know.
job.
I don't feel like it's ever well done because I can't quite do it the way Kate
No,
does
I
it.
love
Okay.
it. Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? We're really
do it my
happy
own
you're
way
doing it.
and don't compare.
That's right. Exactly.
Just stay on theme.
Look at you, just making a call.
I know.
Nice.
Staying on theme.
Exactly
Don't
it.
compare.
Yes.
So we ended the last segment, kind of teased. Well, actually, before I say that, you had said something during the break. Did you
Yeah,
wanna-
Ryan and I
Yeah,
thought it was a little
feel like you should, yeah.
profound.
I think
Okay,
you
how do
should.
we think about it? Okay. Okay. So as we all have heard that, you know, my daughter and son-in-law have this little grandbaby. And when I say this, it was not because anybody was doing something wrong, but my daughter had read something somewhere because we're inundated with social media that can pop up all kinds of knowledge. But she had heard this and she applied it to their situation because their little tiny boy was very content and happy. And my son-in-law, went in to see if the baby needed something, you know, and give the baby something. I'm totally repeating this story. And my daughter said, you know what? We don't need to make a happy baby happier. And it was just, it made me pause. And even my son-in-law and my daughter, we all talk very freely and very comfortable with each other. And he's like, well, that's a good point. Why do we feel compelled to have to go make something better when it's already good? And I thought that really applied to what you were talking about, Ryan, is that even if you don't have something scheduled and you're just pausing for the day, or maybe you took a nice little nap in the middle of the afternoon like you talked you had
That's right.
done, that is good. They're happy children. don't need to make them happier.
Yeah.
Maybe they're happier is actually just being with you guys and not doing something, just because we did chase the schedules. We did chase all of those things because that's what we were kind of informed we should be doing, or it was put in front of us and that we should be doing it back when we were raising children. But maybe just being content.
Yeah.
You have a happy child. There's no need to make it happier.
That's a great point. And I think it actually goes back to something else that you had said too. Like, again, it's not about us, right? But too often, not saying this is wrong or anything, we do make it about us because we as individuals want to bottle it up and be like, okay, we don't want this to go anywhere. Like, stay the same size, age, all of it.
Good point.
Let me make this big grand thing because I need to do something because this needs to be a moment or something.
Oh my gosh, pressure on ourselves. I don't necessarily do that day to day. I didn't, because and the activity thing, I even reached the point at age like 4 and 5 where I'm like, okay, 2. We're not doing more than 2 activities.
Right.
I mean, so I did rein it in, but the pressure hits me like on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
And so you said what about your summer plans or whatever, and so that would be my like whatever cautionary tale as a parent of 20 somethings is take that family vacation, have a blast. But the things that people remember are the little moments that you didn't plan, not the big giant thing that you had hoped would go perfectly and didn't. And then you beat yourself up over it all week instead of just
100%.
enjoying the moment. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, because
You do want to bottle it up.
Well,
and so
you
you want to
do,
create
right.
this like perfect picture, whatever. And good luck with that.
Well, because 9 times out, go ahead.
Don't you, helping you as well, but don't you sometimes share your memories with your kiddos when they were younger and they don't remember them? Or they don't remember it until you say some more and they're like, oh yeah, I can remember seeing a picture.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
but it's not that they did anything wrong. It's just, once again, it's the angle that we're
Yes,
coming at it
yes.
at. They are not coming at it
Right.
at that same angle. Nobody did anything wrong. It's just different memories. And I think sometimes we put that pressure on ourselves
Yep.
to create these grand memories when these little people aren't going to remember it.
And this was before even social media was huge. So I can't imagine what parents go through now, trying to pose the perfect Pinterest picture. Boy, I am on alliteration.
What's so funny about
like
that? What's so funny about that, and not your alliteration because that was funny, but what's funny about that is it's actually, so my father-in-law is very big on, like, how do you say it? This might not be the best way to say it. Like, he'll get the traditional picture, but he is very big in the moment.
The candid shots.
Right, just here's the moment. Rather than here, turn and smile. Here, you're doing something. You're playing with this, and all right. Now turn and look at me and smile. No, I'm gonna get the picture of you actually just doing it.
Oh, yes.
And it's funny. And again, it's not that my parents did anything wrong. My parents were very big in the hey, turn and look at me and smile. Turn and look at me and smile. And obviously, we know as kids, you're like, you don't want to do that every time. You're like, okay, Mom, like I've taken enough pictures. I don't want to smile anymore. But like the pictures of them doing it that they don't even know you're taking are the best. And so he did that a lot because I found myself. So I first started dating my wife. Gosh, we're almost going on 10 years. But when I first started dating my wife, we would do like different things, and I would notice him about to take a picture, and I would turn and smile. He goes, "No, just keep doing what you're doing." And I was like, "What?" And like, because it was weird to me because I was so used to that. And so it took my wife to tell me, like, "Oh yeah, no, he just takes the picture. Like you don't have to smile every time." Now there are times we'll go and be like in front of this place, and we'll all take a picture together. Or we're doing this, I'll take a picture together and smile. But for the most part, it's that. So now it's something that he's kind of taught me. To where, like, we went to the botanical gardens a couple of weeks ago with the twins, and it was constantly like me just with my phone, they're doing whatever, I'm just snapping pictures of whatever they're doing, and then those turned out to be the best pictures because they weren't planned. It was just what it was. And I think you could kind of take a lot of that for just everyday life. Like, again, none of that was planned or posed. It just happened.
So those are the things we need to bottle up. Just the moments, not the posers.
Exactly.
Now
again,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything
there's nothing wrong.
with that because my mom has. I mean, growing up, we have some great pictures of The
Well,
posing.
you're gonna want a couple of pictures
You're gonna want
of the family
Yep.
smiling
Yep.
at the camera at the botanical gardens.
100%.
But not every single picture needs to be that way.
No, because then you get to a point where kids are just like, I don't want to take this picture.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. And it makes for an even better picture when you're not even looking because it's the actual moment itself and not something that was manufactured.
Pretty
or something
cool.
like that.
Having all daughters, they don't mind going through their old photos from when they were younger. I think that's just probably typical of girls. But I do recall that through the years they will say, "What am I doing here?" Because it was what I perceived to probably be just a goofy shot.
Yeah.
It didn't quite work out the way maybe I thought it would. But they're like, "What am I doing here?" And it sparked a conversation because sometimes I knew and sometimes I didn't know what they were doing. I have no idea what you're doing. Do you have any idea what you think you were doing at that time? Why were you on top of the mantle in the fireplace?
Right.
I have no idea. Why
Right.
were you doing that? So, but I think that that's kind of
Yeah.
cool to have those conversations because it takes you back to that time.
Yeah.
I love that example, Ryan. That's really good because it's just a little different than
Yeah.
just a pose memory. It's like an actual verb. I don't know.
One of the
Right.
best pictures that I have is, and my mom actually has it framed at her house. It is our first Halloween with the twins. They are one's in a bee costume, one is in a ladybug costume. And we were walking trick-or-treating, and there was a bunch of flowers. And they love flowers. So they went up to it and were acting like they were smelling it.
Oh, how cute.
And so from an angle, and I have the picture on my phone, I'll have to show you guys. And I took I was like just doing like this because I didn't know what was going to be a good one. And I have one of them where they're both like looking at the flowers in their
Oh my
my
bee
gosh.
and ladybug costumes as little bugs next to the flowers. And my mom has that picture like framed because it is like perfect. But again, it wasn't as if I sat there and said, okay, now look at me. It was, okay, what are you doing? I'm just going to take a picture of that.
Nor did you say, pretend like you're a bee and a ladybug,
Nope.
on the leaf of the flower. You didn't do anything.
Like, I
just
may- like,
naturally did
I
it.
may have said like, you can smell them, go ahead, like telling them they can, or and if I remember correct, or they just did it, whatever. And then I just snapped a gazillion pictures, and one of them ended up being phenomenal.
Okay, that's the nice thing about
So cool.
phone pictures
yeah,
instead
you
of film
just
pictures
yeah.
because
You
That's
never
dating
know.
us.
the posing probably came from the fact that we had to be real selective with the shot.
That's a
most
good
of the
point.
time.
It's a very good point.
Because then you had to go take your film to get it
Yeah.
developed, and then 24 pictures
Yeah.
later, only one's good.
Right.
Yes, that's
Right.
a good point. That's a good
Or
point.
now it's like I take a gazillion, you find the one on your phone, delete the other ones that didn't do
Right.
anything for you, and then you just have like all of these photos. Because I'll do that. Like if I take a picture, I'm just like like 5 of the same thing because one of them is bound to be good.
Right,
And then
right.
delete the other ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
it's
interesting.
it's so funny. That's what I'm excited. Like I know we were kind of going to start off the whole thing about like different things we do in the summer, but like I'm excited because we're at that fun age of doing different things. Like we're going to go camping. Obviously, we've been doing stuff around the house to kind of make the backyard kind of this fun little playground place, and they love it.
Nice.
So they've been doing all this different stuff with us. Plus, the kids have been like a part of it. Every project I've done,
I love that.
they've helped
Yeah.
with air quotes for those that can't see it. Whether that's me moving dirt, they might move dirt for like 5 seconds, say they helped, and go back to playing. But it's like, they're helping, And so it's just kind of been a fun thing in our new house of like doing that kind of stuff.
Well, but they're also invested in what you're creating, and they're also watching you work hard, and you're teaching them so much when you're doing that. I think
fun.
that's wonderful.
It's fun.
I think that's lovely.
No, the summer's great. I love the summertime.
And I think for me, and Laura, I want to hear what you have planned for the summer. But I actually, contrary to what I said earlier at the very beginning of the show, I actually am looking forward to planting flowers. And I actually am looking forward to growing my herb garden and all this other stuff. And I have all kinds of amazing ideas for outside. It just wasn't yesterday. So what do you have
feeling it.
planned?
Well,
for-
actually, my flowers are in.
That's
nice.
Oh my gosh, I was done early this year. I was always told don't ever do anything before Mother's Day, and I was done by Easter.
It's the way to do it.
Nice. And they're still
Get it done.
okay.
Everything looks beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, I only had to cover them one night because April 15th was the Farmer's Almanac's last projected frost, so I only had to cover them one. I guess I didn't have them done by Easter then, because I don't remember if Easter was early or
Right
late this
around
year.
there.
But anyway,
Right around there though.
because I waited for that last frost. No, I just like you. I love my little outdoor space. It's my happy place, and it's different now because neither one of the kids are at home, so we're not planning big family vacations and da 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 da. So
So you might go see them. You might go do this.
yeah.
Kind of on a whim.
But different work schedules and different things put a little crux in that, and
Yeah.
we didn't make a big plan. We're just kind of winging it this summer.
I love that.
But don't you think? I think for us, we didn't end up having a big family trip like we have in the past, but we have so many amazing weddings that we're all ending up at, and they're all destination weddings, and so it's
Nice.
wonderful. So we've had a little miniature trips this year, and I think that's been our way. And you have to kind of like shift gears as you get older, and these kiddos grow up and they have their own life. It's great, but it's kind of weird at the same time. And so
Right.
you just take whatever you get.
And you've
I
got
think,
3 schedules. You have to,
oh,
3
heavens,
adults
yeah.
plus your own schedules.
And
So-
plus
No
my
wonder you were
husband's.
tired the other day.
I know, right?
Goodness.
Thank you for understanding.
That's right. We're always here to
Yes.
understand. But you guys have been great. That's it. That's all we got.
Nice.
Okay.
Hashtag everyone
job.
talking about hashtag everything. We hope each and every one of you enjoys the summer in your own way. We'll talk to you guys next Sunday. Again, this has been hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything.